Welcome to the How to Add and Edit Student Test Settings in the Test Information Distribution Engine TIDE training video. In this training, we will review how to add and edit student information first, then how to add and edit test attributes. Let's review how district and campus testing coordinators can manage student information in TIDE. First, we will show you how to edit a student's information manually, such as demographics, additional student information, test eligibility, and test format. Here you will see the View, Edit, Export Student page, showing the search criteria fields. Required criteria are marked with asterisks and other criteria are optional. You can further refine your criteria by selecting options from the Search Fields drop-down menu under Advanced Search. Click the Add button and the Additional Criteria Chosen section will appear on the right side of the panel. Let's look up a sample student by entering the TSDS ID. Click Search to continue, then click View Results. To add or delete columns to display, click the drop-down menu at the upper right corner of the results. To view or edit a student's information, including test settings and accommodations, click the green pencil icon. Please note that fields shaded in gray cannot be modified. Scroll down to view the student's enrollment information. For those districts and campuses participating in the beginning of the year BOY or in-term assessments, a student's in-term grades will be set automatically based on his or her corresponding enrolled grade. If students are taking an above or below grade BOY or in-term assessment or an end-of-course EOC in-term assessment, be sure to indicate the additional grades and EOC assessments here. Please note that all students will be defaulted to the online test mode this year. Additionally, it is important to note that districts and campuses will not have to fill out a special administration request form. Special paper material orders will be processed according to the new paper test format field as shown here. In order to receive materials in an initial order shipment, districts and campuses will need to select the test mode of paper in the paper test format prior to the close of a test administration's initial order window. For more information, refer to the Special Administration page in the District and Campus Coordinator Resources, or DCCR. In the non-embedded support panels, you can make the applicable selections to indicate what students receive on their tests. In test attributes, you can turn on embedded supports such as text-to-speech and content and language supports for eligible students. You can also change presentation from English to Spanish for eligible grades 3 through 5 students, or to Braille for students using refreshable Braille. Beginning this school year, districts and campuses can turn on or off embedded supports for eligible Texas Formative Assessment Resource (TFAR) tests, such as released STAR items. We will review how users can manage test attributes in more details in a later section. Let's edit this student's test setting. Recently, this student's Admission Review and Dismissal ARD committee agreed that she needs a paper STAR test with embedded supports for this school year. Because she is in grade 6, we will modify her test settings for mathematics and reading. Scroll down to the Test Format Indicator panel, find the Mathematics and Reading drop-down menu under Test Mode, and select Paper for both subjects. Under Paper Test Format, select Regular Print Embedded Supports for Mathematics and Reading. It is important to note that for students eligible for a special paper or holistic administration of an online assessment, districts must set the student's Section 504 indicator code field or Special Ed indicator code field to Yes in the Additional Student Information panel. If these fields are not selected, the student will not be considered eligible for special administration and no materials will be shipped, even if the test mode and paper test format fields on this page are selected. Be sure to save before you exit this page. Let's look up and edit another student's test setting. This grade 9 student is currently enrolled in English 1 and Biology, and he will have to take the STAR EOC assessments in those courses during the spring administration. He is also an Algebra 1 retester, having failed his test in the last school year. First, scroll down to the Student Eligibility Summative panel. Find the English 1 and Biology drop-down menu under Spring EOC Eligibility and select Yes for both courses. We will now select Yes from the Algebra 1 drop-down menu under Retester and December EOC Eligibility. This student is now eligible for the Algebra 1 test during the December STAR EOC administration, and English 1 and Biology during the spring STAR administration. Be sure to save before exiting this page. Use the Upload Student Information task to upload many students at once. It is important to note that TIDE will update and override information based on the most recent uploaded data file where differences exist. Please refer to the assessment data file formats in the Technology Resource page of the Texas Assessment website for more information. The upload process has 4 steps: upload, preview, validate, and confirmation. First, click Download Templates to download a template for your upload file. Open the template, enter information for the students you wish to add using Microsoft Excel or another program, and save the file in Microsoft Excel or CSV format. Once you return to TIDE, click Browse and select the file you just saved. Click Next. The Upload Preview screen appears. If everything is correct, proceed to confirm. District and campus testing coordinators can use the Upload Additional Fields option to add or modify students' attributes without having to upload an entire student information file. Another advantage for using this option is to allow users to make multiple changes to a single student without affecting the student's entire record. To use this option, please note that student records must exist in TIDE first. You should download the template and fill out the fields for students whose attributes need to be modified. If you need to add or modify multiple attributes, multiple rows with the same ID are required, as only one attribute can be listed in a single row. For example, if a student has recently identified as an emergent bilingual English learner and at risk, you will need to include 2 rows with the same TSDS ID, a row to indicate emergent bilingual English learner, and another row to indicate at risk. When you are finished with the file, upload it to make necessary changes in TIDE. Now we will look at how to manage test attributes for online assessments. Here you will see the View, Edit, Export Test Attributes page showing the search criteria fields. Required criteria are marked with asterisks. Other criteria are optional. Let's look up a sample student by entering the TSDS ID. To edit a student's test attribute, click the pencil icon. This will open a student's page. Then, locate test attributes and expand your view. If you need to make any changes, use the drop-down menu or select On/Off buttons. The Test Attributes panel has been redesigned to include only online embedded supports. Paper-related test attributes such as Braille and large print have been removed from this panel. For eligible students who will need to take paper tests, you should indicate in the test mode and the paper test format options located in the Test Format Indicator panel. Let's review adding test attributes to a student. A student recently became eligible to receive content and language supports and text-to-speech embedded supports for mathematics and reading STAR Spanish tests. First, use the drop-down menu to locate Spanish under the mathematics column. Then, turn on content and language supports and text-to-speech. We will repeat the same steps for the reading column. If students' test eligibilities change throughout the year, be sure to update their test attributes in the Test Attributes panel if you choose to do so manually. For eligible students, TELPAS and TFAR test attributes can be set on this page as well. Be sure to save before you exit this page. The Upload Test Attributes task is found under Test Attributes. From this page, you can download the template in Microsoft Excel or CSV format. Fill out the necessary information and then upload that file. You will notice that there will be a drop-down option in the subject, tool name, and value columns to select what students should receive on their online tests. As we previously discussed in the Additional Student Fields task, you must include one attribute in a single row. If you are adding content and language supports in mathematics and reading for a grade 3 student, you will need to include 2 rows with the same TSDS ID, one row with content and language supports for mathematics, and another row with content and language supports for reading. In the next example, we will set the test setting to Spanish for a grade 5 student who will be taking STAR Spanish Math, Reading, and Science tests. For the next student, we will add text-to-speech for a TFAR test. And lastly, you will see a speech-to-text has been added to the student's TELPAS reading and writing test. When you are finished with the file, upload it to make necessary changes in type. Educators and technology staff will be supported by Texas Testing Support. They can be contacted at 833-601-8821 or at texastestingsupport@cambiumassessment.com. You can also access the support team using the chat feature located in the Texas Assessment website. This concludes the How to Add and Edit Student Test Settings in TIDE training video. You may review the contents of this video by using the controls on your player.